Hour number 2 on a Buffalo Victory Monday. Chris Brown, Steve Tasker with you. And as we are usually joined on Mondays by none other than NFL Network Analyst, resident member of Bills Mafia, Michael Robinson, who was tweeting furiously yesterday during the game. How we doing, Mike? Another win in the books here, another division win. It's 4 in a row, and they're still atop the AFC. It's a good day.
It's a great day. And you know what, guys? What a great win, right? Where you saw some things that we need to work on, but we still got the win. Those are the best wins in the National Football League. I don't like blowouts, right? I like wins where we win, but we don't necessarily look the best. We can work on some things, right? Keep guys humble and grounded and continue to work for a championship. Man, I love what I'm seeing out of these Buffalo Bills, especially out of Josh Allen.
Yeah, and Josh, the offense got off to a really slow start, like offsides penalties, holding penalties, some incomplete passes, really struggling on third down. They looked, and I said earlier in the show, it looked like they were off for 10 weeks, not 10 days, because they were a little rusty. And then after he ran and flipped over those guys for a 3rd and 16 conversion, he seemed to settle in, and the game got a little better for him.
Absolutely. And again, I know we're a throwing team. We're a passing team. We're a 5 wide out team. But one of the top plays that I saw, and I think it was in the second quarter, maybe it was just straight up 22 personnel. Devin Singletary went for 16 yards. Again, I'm not saying that we need to be an offense that consistently puts up 150 yards rushing, even though that would be good. But at the end of the day, you want to protect Josh Allen from himself. He's a big, strong, powerful quarterback. To me, he's the best quarterback in the National Football League. To a lot of others, he's the best quarterback in the National Football League. And he can do so much, but sometimes he tries to put too much on his shoulders. If you have a running game that is functioning, that is operating in situational football, you don't necessarily have to make Josh Allen feel like he has to put so much on himself, and then he can be MVP Josh Allen.
All right, so let's talk about that a little bit more, Mike, because I feel like there are times where Josh's competitive fire almost gets the best of him. And what I mean by that is, he's looking to get it all in one play instead of just keeping the offense on schedule. And I thought yesterday against what I would call a top-shelf defensive line of the Jets, staying on schedule was important because you don't want to be putting your offensive line in a situation where you're in 3rd and long and they got to hold up against those guys, because it proved problematic yesterday, as we saw. So as a coach, like if you're Ken Dorsey, and I'm sure he built in checkdowns into the game plan, both in Week 9 and yesterday, how do you convince a guy with as much competitive fire as Josh to, hey, let's just help your O-line out. Let's stay on schedule. Let's check it down when it's there. Live for another down. Let's get in 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3. Stay away from 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 12. How do you work that balance, knowing the talent that Josh is, and he can make the spectacular plays too?
Continually reminding him on the sideline, continually reminding him in the headset, continually talking to him. Hey, Josh, you never go broke taking a profit. Hey, Josh, touchdown, check down, touchdown, check down. That's how these things go. And a lot of the older quarterbacks in the National Football League, they know this because they've had so much experience, right? They just keep taking what the defense gives you, and then eventually those big plays open up downfield. The issue is this, right? The issue is this. When Josh Allen steps up to the line of scrimmage, you got, Steph Diggs, you got Gabe Davis, you got Isaiah McKenzie, you got Devin Singletary, you got Dawson Knox, you got all of these weapons, right? Stephon Diggs, which this past game, Stephon Diggs had 2 guys looking at him almost every single play. And when he didn't have 2 guys looking at him, Josh tried to hit him, Josh hit him, right? And then you had Sauce Gardner, right, who's, I ain't gonna lie to you guys, he's playing the best cornerback play of any cornerback in the National Football League right now. It jumps off of the tape. You had him on Gabe Davis, right? And so it came down to Shakur. It came down to Isaiah McKenzie. It came down to those guys having to make plays. And if we want to be the championship team, I know that we can be. In the playoffs, those guys are going to have to make plays because opposing defenses just aren't going to let Stephon Diggs continue to do what he's done all season. So as long as those other guys step up, as long as Ken Dorsey calls a game that maybe the plays doesn't have as many shots downfield, that's also how you talk Josh Allen into taking the check down.
What do you think about, the condition of the offense right now? I mean, and people are, they're kind of it sounds like they're looking for style points almost. They not only want them to win, they want them to win and win big and look good doing it. And the Jet game, it was an ugly game. Bad weather, slow start by both offenses. And, Bills go up by 10 and end up winning by 8, or go up by 11 and end up winning by 8. So, what's your thought on where the Buffalo Bills offense is right now and going forward in this last month?
Yeah, again, situational football we got to get better in, especially when it comes to those short yardage situations, because oftentimes the short yardage run play is to run Josh Allen around the edge, whether it's a quarterback sweep, whether it's a quarterback counter or something like that. But it's very powerful to an opposing defense when you can line up 22 personnel, 21 personnel, which is base personnel, 23 personnel with 3 tight ends and 2 backs, and be able to just line up and push people off the ball and run the football to go along with that passing game. You know what I'm saying? I love the condition of the offensive line. I thought Deion Dawkins, I just posted on Instagram how he just completely forklift 91 on Josh Allen's touchdown run. I think the offensive line, I think the offense is good. But to your point about the style points, for whatever reason, our society is like that, right? Just a win ain't good enough. I got to win by 3 touchdowns. I got to totally dominate. Look, the Jets, and I think Josh Allen said this after the game, this is a divisional opponent. They know us. And let's be honest, guys, the Jets have a championship defense. So when you talk about the Jets in this division going forward, in years to come, the Jets, that's one of those teams I'm going to be scared of in the AFC East.
Let's look at the Sunday night game, because that involves Buffalo's next opponent, Miami. And over the past 2 weeks, both D'Amico Ryans, D.C. for San Francisco, and the defensive coordinator for the Chargers, whose name's escaping me right now, both drew it up really, really well. And Tua was flummoxed, to say the least. I mean, he's 3 of 17 passing at halftime last night. They can't get a dang thing done. And look, I know that every defensive game plan starts from the inside out, but they flooded the middle of the field with defenders, the Chargers did. They rendered Jalen Waddle a non-factor in this game and challenged Tua to throw it outside the numbers, and he had all sorts of problems. I know some guys say, blueprint, schmooprint, but is there a blueprint out there based on what San Francisco and the Chargers did the last 2 weeks to slow down that high-powered Dolphins offense?
A couple of different things I've saw from both the Chargers defense as well as the San Francisco 49ers defense. And I know D'Amico Ryans personally, a great dude. He will be a head coach in the National Football League, a football savant. Dude is smart as all get out. Played against him in the Senior Bowl. He hit me at the goal line, prevented me from getting a touchdown. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it seems like what these defenses are doing, look, Tua and this Miami offense is predicated, the success of it is predicated off timing and anticipation, right? Timing and anticipation. So what do you want to do? You want to throw off that timing and anticipation by putting hands on those receivers, by just muddying the picture. When I looked at these defensive backs for the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Chargers, where they would drop at 5 yards, they dropped more at 8 to 10 yards. They just muddied the waters for Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and all of these offensive weapons, right? And when you muddy the waters, right, it throws off that timing and anticipation. This is a very precise passing game. So if Tua gets to his 5th step and he's in his head, he has to let the football go. But Tyreek Hill had to deal with something at the line of scrimmage, and then he's trying to get into the middle of the field, and all of the defenders are preventing him from getting into the middle of the field. It's going to look like we saw it look last night. And then, forcing Tua to throw the ball outside the numbers, that goes back to that arm strength thing, which we all had questions about Tua Tagovailoa and his arm strength going forward. So, yeah, I know people don't like to believe in blueprints when it comes to players, but for me, until Tua in this Miami offense shows me that he has the arm strength, that they can beat press coverage, that they can be thrown off from a timing standpoint, they can go to the extra play where he's scrambling around and being explosive with the football. Until he shows me that, yeah, there is a blueprint to beat the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa, and that's muddying the waters in the middle of the field.
What do you think about the Dolphin defense? Last night, their front really showed up, and then as the game wore on, and the LA Chargers had 74 offensive plays in that game last night, and the Dolphins only had like low 50s. Their defensive front in Miami was really playing well. They really did a nice job in the early going at against the LA because Justin Herbert was getting whacked a lot, and he was having to move around. But the Dolphins' defense does seem to be legit, particularly Jalen Ramsey and Christian Wilkins. Well, I'm sorry, Jalen Phillips and Christian Wilkins are really playing well in a high level.
They're playing at a real high level, and a matchup that I think will determine the outcome of this game is Roger Saffold and Wilkins, right? I thought Wilkins had he's having a hell of a season, quite frankly. I think Roger Saffold is one of the best mauler run blockers in the National Football League. So that matchup is going to be fascinating to watch. But when you look at this Miami Dolphins defense, right, they like to pressure you. I think this game is also going to come down to how well our Bills and this Bills offense handles pressure, handles that zero blitz, right? Because see, Miami, what they do is they put 6 or 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, right? It looks like they're all coming, but you have to figure out which guys are coming, which guys are dropping, and have the right routes to accompany that, right? If early on in this game, if Josh Allen, Steph Diggs, and this offense can be explosive against that blitz, I'm telling you, it's going to be a long day for this Miami defense, and it'll talk them out of all that blitzing and all that aggressiveness.
Let's just get back to yesterday's game against the Jets quickly here, because we'd be remiss if we did not mention the defensive performance by the Bills. Greg Rousseau and Matt Milano kind of the tip of the spear in that performance. I mean, those two guys were just all over the field, it seemed. Rousseau now with a single season high 7.5 sacks. He's already eclipsed his 5 sacks from his rookie season. Maybe just the development of his game that you've witnessed in the film that you've watched, and then Milano continuing what has been an all-pro season yesterday.
Well, first of all, with Gregory Rousseau, Boogie Basham, Epinesa, you can see the influence of Von Miller, especially when the ball is coming at them and they're playing the run. See, Von is not a big guy, right? So Von always played the run when the run came at him as being a slippery guy. I used to hate trying to block Von Miller on the edge of a defense because he was so slippery. He didn't want to have to deal with you. He didn't want to have a physical altercation with you. And you can see it in Gregory Rousseau's game playing the run this year. You can see it in Boogie Basham's game playing the run this year. And I thought both of those guys did an excellent job. Daquan Jones, Ed Oliver, it starts there, guys. It starts at the defensive tackle position. They could not be blocked one-on-one. They could not be blocked one-on-one. And if they continue to play like this, they will continue to have an all-pro types of defense. And now I want to get to my guy, Matt Milano, because I really think he's having a special season, guys. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Bills Mafia fan. I'm a Bills fan. No, like this dude literally talked Mike White out of 4 or 5 passes just by his body position, just by his presence. There was one run he stopped, right? He had to fill the opposite A gap because y'all had a middle dog cross blitz on him. He filled the A gap, spinned out of it, and was in a position to catch the back as the back cut back on the inside zone. He can sack the quarterback. He has sacks on the season. He has forced fumbles on the season. Every discipline of defensive football, Matt Milano affects this game. To me, like I said before, he's the glue of this defense. He can rush the passer, he affects pass coverage and everything. He's an all-pro. I mean, he is. He allows Tremaine Edmonds to play just to go crazy and headhunt and hit anything moving, which who I think as he returns, he's starting to play a lot better. Just Matt Milano, I can't say enough about him. He's probably the most important part of this defense, absent Von Miller, and I'm just excited to see this kid continue to have an all-pro season. And if he doesn't get all-pro, it should be criminal.
I'm going to ask you, too, about the coaching style of Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier and, of course, Ken Dorsey. These guys, we saw them 2 weeks ago, or not 2 weeks ago, but Thursday night game in New England. They just strangled the New England Patriots. They weren't up big. They were up 2 scores, but you just had no chance. The feeling of the game was that Patriots had no chance to get back in that game because of the quality of offense and the style of offense the Bills went to and the way they played defense in that game as well. And then, of course, against these Jets, The Bills' defense was banging Mike White all over the field. And Josh Allen, they got up 2 scores, and it seemed like they kind of did the exact same thing. They just started to squeeze the life out of that game, and the Jets just ran out of time and opportunities to win it. What do you think about that type of game management from the coaching staff and the play selection, not only from Leslie Frazier, but also Ken Dorsey?
Well, first it starts with Brandon Beane, the guy who went grocery shopping, that has all the right ingredients in this championship soup that's being cooked up right now by Sean McDermott. So you have to start with Brandon Beane. I mean, the depth from the defensive line, the depth from the secondary, the depth from the offensive line, being able to bring guys in, bringing in Naheem Hines, guys like that to solidify the return game so that when Josh Allen has a check down, he has speed that he's checking the football down to. So I think it starts with Brandon Beane. And then really when I look at this coaching staff, whether it's Sean McDermott, Leslie Frazier, and Ken Dorsey, these guys seem like they genuinely like each other. It doesn't seem like nobody's trying to outdo another and have an ego set upon him. It seems like if Kim Dorsey knows that the offense is struggling, he knows he can lean on Leslie Frazier. Leslie Frazier knows that, if the secondary's banged up, his safeties were banged up a little bit early in the season, we had to lean on the offense to score more points, and obviously special teams and just the entire attitude of the team comes from Sean McDermott. These guys seem like they genuinely like each other. They seem like they genuinely are in it to win a championship, and there's no ego involved. And when you have that, that's usually when the best versions of yourselves and the best version of your teams come to fruition.
All right, let's talk now about the best news of the week. You got yourself in the travel party for the NFL Network aired game on Saturday night, Dolphins at Bills. And I'm going to tell you, Mike, pack your boots and get your snow gear out. There's a lake effect snowstorm possibility on Saturday night, 60% chance as it stands right now. So keep your weather app open this week and make sure you pack accordingly.
I cannot wait, guys. So this is how important this game was to me, guys. First of all, I was supposed to do Thursday night football in Seattle for the Mike Robb Bowl. San Francisco 49ers, they drafted me, right? I won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks, right? And I was going to be in Seattle to raise the 12th man flag, right? Getting everybody hype on Amazon Prime, all of that, right? They told me some weather was coming. I talked to the network. I knew we were going to be in Buffalo. They said there was a chance I could miss my flight and not get into Buffalo. I said, to hell with the Mike Robb Bowl, man. I got to go see Josh Allen. I got to go see this Buffalo Bills Mafia and the Bills Mafia up close and personal at Highmark Stadium. I'm interviewing Josh Allen tomorrow. We'll save that for Saturday. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm pumped up. Fans scream loud, bring your tables out. I just might jump off and jump on the table. I can't wait.
That'll be good. We can't wait. Try and get you just come in and say hi to us at least as you're here on the weekend, and hope you enjoy your visit. Saturday games are unique because you got that, the next day is different than it usually is a Monday, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Yes. Mind your manners when you're here. That's all I can say, because it could get out of hand really in a big hurry here.
Don't hurt yourself on the table, man. I know you did want a training camp, but
I'm ready. I'm ready. Right. I did my stretching. I got my stretch area over there. I did my cold tub bath later. I'm going to do my cold tub bath this week. I'm ready for that table. Bills Mafia stand all the way up. Let's get it, guys.
All right, Mike. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you out here later in the week.
Thank you, guys. Let's get it. See you guys later.